Hello, I will show you step by step how to install Linux Mint 22.2, codenamed Zara. It will be a simple and straightforward tutorial, so listen carefully and follow the instructions carefully. Before I begin, I have some requirements. You need to know the key to access the boot menu. If you don't know it, search for it on YouTube or the internet. You must have disabled Secure Boot in the BIOS because this video does not include how to do it with Secure Boot. If you don't know how to do it, search on YouTube or the internet. Most importantly, you must have a USB flash drive with at least 8 GB of storage space, and it must not be important to you because one of the procedures in this video will delete everything on the USB drive, so make sure it is not important. Listen, watch, and do everything very carefully because you risk deleting Windows and everything you have on your computer. That said, let's start with this tutorial. First, let's disable Fast Startup so we can still use the Windows partition on Linux Mint. So search for and open the control panel. After that, select System and Security, then select Power Options. At the top left, it should say, choose what the power button does. Click on it. After that, click on the text, change settings that are currently unavailable. Unfortunately, I don't have the Fast Startup function in my list, but if you see it, make sure it is disabled. Once you have deselected, click on Save Changes, after which you can close the control panel and move on to the next step. In this step, you must disable device encryption in order to create a partition for Linux Mint and still be able to use the Windows partition on Linux Mint. To do this, open Windows Settings and select Privacy and Security. You should see an option labeled Device Encryption. If you don't see it, you're probably already set, but if you do see it, select it and disable Device Encryption. You must accept all warnings, and then decryption will begin. This could take anywhere from a few minutes to an hour or more, depending on how much storage you have used and how fast your storage is. However, after disabling device encryption, we move on to the next step. Now it's time to create the partition for Linux Mint. Search for and open Create and Format Hard Disk Partitions. Select the partition you want to shrink for Linux Mint, usually the Windows partition. Select it, right-click, and choose Shrink Volume. The minimum for Linux Mint is 20 GB, but I want to create a 32 GB partition. To do this correctly, since it works in binary megabytes here, I use a web page like this one. By typing in 32 and then clicking on Convert, it gives me the correct size in binary for 32 GB. After that, I copy or write down the value by hand, but I copy and paste it. Anyway, after writing your size in the cell where it says enter the amount of space to shrink in MB, click on Shrink, and you should get a black Unused partition. Leave it like that, and move on to the next step. Now it's time to create the installation USB stick. All the links and pages shown in this video are available in the description of this video. On this page, click on Download. I want to use the Cinnamon Edition, so I click on the gray Download button. On this page, scroll down and click on a mirror, which is the green text. Choose the one with the flag of your country or a country near you, otherwise it will take forever to download the Linux Mint ISO file. While the ISO file is downloading, let's download Rufus, which is the program for writing the ISO file to our USB flash drive. Go down and select the version of Rufus you want or need. I choose the portable version, you choose yours, and now just wait for everything to download. After everything has downloaded, open File Explorer, go to Downloads, and open Rufus. Accept as administrator. You should see a screen like this. Insert your USB flash drive. After that, click Select your Linux Mint ISO file, and click Open. Then click Start, accept all warnings, and simply wait for the ISO file to be written to your USB stick. This will take a few minutes. When you have finished writing the ISO image, close Rufus and everything else you have opened. Now simply shut down your computer and then restart it, immediately pressing the boot menu key to access your boot menu and select the USB stick, which may have a strange name, such as Limpus Lite. You should see a screen like this. There are several options. To try and install Linux Mint, select the first option. If you encounter problems such as graphic glitches, or if you cannot select anything or do anything, force shut down your computer and select the second option, Compatibility Mode. However, it may take a few minutes to start up. You should finally be in Linux Mint, obviously in live mode. The first thing to do is connect to the internet. There's an icon at the bottom right to do this, both for Wi-Fi and Ethernet cable. You can also do USB tethering if you have problems, but I am connected via Ethernet. Once connected, open Install Linux Mint, the icon with the CD on the top left, and you will need to configure your language, keyboard layout, and possibly other settings. It is important to select Install Multimedia Codes and then continue until you reach the Installation Type section. In the Installation Type, select something else and click Continue. Here you will find all your storage and partitions. Be very careful here because if you delete or change anything, you risk deleting Windows and everything you have on your computer. So follow everything very carefully here. You must select the partition you created on Windows. It is listed with free space and also has a size in megabytes similar to that on Windows. In my case, is under partition NVMe0N1P3. I select it and then click on the plus button. First of all, I want to have a swap partition. Some programs simply require it, so I give it a size of 4096 or 4000 if you want to write, which is 4 gigabytes. Then under Use As, I select Swap Area and then I click on OK. Now reselect your partition for Linux Mint. In my case, it is now under NVMe0N1P5, so under the swap partition. It has obviously become a little smaller. After selecting it, click on the plus button again. Do not change the size. Under Use As, you can leave extension 4 or change it if you want, but extension 4 is the most commonly used. I leave it on extension 4. Under Mount Point, select the /, which means root, then click on the OK button. For the boot partition, it will use the Windows one, detecting it automatically as you can read on device for bootloader installation, so it will use the first partition, NVMe0N1P1. You can create your own if you wish. However, check that you have done everything correctly. If something is not right, close the installer and try again. If everything is correct, click on the Install Now button. You will be given a warning with the partitions you have created or modified. If you are satisfied, click on the Continue button, and you will need to continue with the rest of the configuration. After that, you will see this screen, which is the actual installation. Here, you simply have to wait for perhaps 10 or 20 minutes, or even longer. It all depends on how fast and powerful your computer is and how fast your internet connection is. When it has finished, you will see this message. Click on Restart Now. When it restarts, it will tell you to remove the USB stick. Do so and press Enter. After restarting, you should see a screen like this. If you don't, try going into the BIOS and changing the boot order. In this menu, you have various options, and if you want, you can go back to Windows. I choose the first option to start Linux Mint. This is the screen that appears after you first start Linux Mint. You can close it and ignore it if you want, but it is very important to check if you need to install any updates. At the bottom right, there's an icon with a shield. It has a red mark next to it when there are updates to install. Click on it and check if there are any updates. In my case, I have to update the upgrader itself first, but then it should show you all the updates to be made. However, first change your mirrors to local mirrors so you can download them quickly, otherwise you will have to wait forever for the updates. Click on the Yes button. It will ask you for your password. On this screen, click on the first mirror, the one with the American flag. It will run some tests, but choose the one with the flag of your country or a country next to yours, and then click on Apply. Do the same with the second one with the British flag. Click on it and select the one with the flag of your country or a country next to yours and click on Apply. After that, click on the green button that says Click here to update the APT cache. Once it has finished, close the Mirrors window and click on the Install Updates button. The download will only take a few minutes, so everything should be updated in 5 to 10 minutes. When finished, click on the orange Reboot button. After rebooting and logging in, Linux Mint is now updated and ready to use. As you can see, the terminal doesn't lie. I'm using Linux Mint, and I can browse the internet very smoothly, watch cat videos online without any problems, and best of all, play Roblox without any issues, which is even better because I have more free RAM. Anyway, that's really all there is to it. I hope this video has been useful to you. Well, I think it's time to say goodbye. Thank you for your time and for watching, and I wish you an excellent 2026. Goodbye.